All right, good morning. Let's get started on today. I want to talk about execution. So last time we were together, I talked a little bit about finding your superpower. And I'm curious, as we talk about execution this morning, who figured out, brainstormed, brain dumped, asked some other people, went and figured out what their superpower is? Can you type it in the chat? Please, if you figured that out, I want to know, number one, because I want to know what your superpower is. Number two, I want to know if you went and did the work. Because we do not want to just be zombies. That's another word for zombies, but with Zoom attached. Zombies. The definition would be those who show up to Zoom and do nothing. Knocking on doors. Ooh. Finishing up today, finally among the living. I have a feeling that's attached with I was sick lately. I understand it is going around in many, many places. I do think that my small little friends group right here in Holly, Michigan likes to just pass around all of our colds and flus to each other. And if it's not one of us, it's the other one of us. Loyalty, laughing, and determination. Did the work, not sure of power. Miss Mary. Did the work, not sure of powers. Same. Persistency, or my husband says love. Okay. If you've done the work and you haven't figured it out yet, you need to find someone that is close to you to help you figure out what that is. What are you really good at? Because after a week of soul searching, we should be able to come up with some ideas, a list, 5 top ones, whatever that we want to whittle down into something. So I'm just helping you guys follow up just a little bit on last week. That's not what this week is about. This week is about execution. But that's the point, right? On Monday mornings, and Sid and I talked about this a little bit yesterday. She does challenges for you guys. I do, Monday mornings, and I usually give you some homework to do for the week. But what I find is most people aren't going to do it. And maybe it doesn't relate to you. So it's not a week that you're going to go do the homework on. That's totally cool. This is, a free country, right? You can do whatever you want, whatever is going to help you move forward. So here's the thing though, if we give out these tasks and you guys are, I'm assuming, showing up here because you're looking at growing as a human in your business of some sort, right? You're not just coming here to sit on here and pretend like you were paying attention. I'm not thinking that's why you're here. So if that's the case, and we're actually trying to grow as humans and become better at something, so that we can grow our business, our reach, our network, our social media stature, whatever it is that your overall goals are, you're showing up here for a reason. And so that means when we give out these things, you have to go do the work on them, or showing up here and not doing it just makes you a zombie, which is another word for zombie. We already went over that. Okay. So the last thing that Sydney and I want to be on here and do these to help you become more amazing humans, right? In whatever capacity that is. But if you come on here and you don't go do that work, you don't execute on the plans, being here really isn't doing you a whole lot of good, right? And I, like I just said, you can pick and choose from the things that you're going to participate in that you think will help you. You absolutely don't have to participate in the things that you don't think are meant for you, or the things that maybe you've already got that accomplished, or you've got that tackled. Fine. I do want you guys, and I'm going to pound on this every week until I get your superpower, because these superpowers, I want you to really think hard about what you're, what is going to be the end result of that, what you're going to pick. Because it's something that I want you to go and capitalize on, something that we're going to put some plan of action in over the next year so that we can really capitalize on our superpower. So I'll use Sherry. You put 2 in here, persistency, or my husband says love. Now that you have that figured out, I want you to figure out how you might be able to capitalize on that, how you might be able to make that into your brand that we start getting out there and working on. If that doesn't work for you, maybe you're really good at those things, but maybe that's not something you can actually execute on and grow your business with those attributes. It's not something we can go brand you on. I'm not saying it is or it isn't. I'm just, you put two in there and they're right in front of my face. So easy to grab. If that's not the case, keep digging a little bit, do a little more soul searching. Let's figure out, like Sydney put on here. I know one of hers was funny. I helped her with that last week. Just kidding. I think she knew she was funny already. Loyalty, laughing, and determination. Okay. She can make people laugh. She has that quick wit humor. She can brand that. She can brand it. She can capitalize on it. She can make it her entire brand. And she can take the other two characteristics she has there and mold those and melt those into that overall. I'm not letting you go with just picking your superpower, though. We're going to go start figuring out how to execute. And that's really what I'm here to talk to you guys about today, is execution, because none of this is worth anything unless you go actually execute it. So just some notes that I made for today, because obviously I always go and do just a little bit of research. I don't want to just coming off of what my own opinions are. I want to go and see kind of some other things out there. One thing I did, I'm going to skip down my notes. I did a post yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? I don't even remember. And ask people, I think it was Saturday, ask people what, if there was one thing that they could learn how to do better, or just learn how to do in general, that would help them level up in their business or their life or their goal set, what would that one thing be? And I'm going to tell you what I think, that they're all kind of related in the top 4 answers I got, because I got some of them repeatedly. One was organization. One was procrastination. One was mindset, and one was self-discipline. Those were the top 4 kind of answers, or maybe like a combo of answers that I was getting. And some messages that I got in Messenger too about it, all kind of went to those 4 things, which are really intertwined and interrelated. Organization, procrastination, mindset, and self-discipline, to me, are all things that we have, are all things, number one, that you really can't, I don't want to say that you can't learn them. You can absolutely learn them, but they are all tied back into your mindset and what you're allowing, what you're deciding, what you're allowing. Being organized or getting organized, I think there's a gazillion tools out there to help you get organized. This is all about whether you want to spend the time doing it. Procrastination is great with execution. It's 99% of the reason why people don't execute. It's because they keep saying they're going to do it tomorrow, and they're going to do it tomorrow, and they're going to do it tomorrow, and they're going to do it tomorrow. Got to have the right mindset in all things to be able to do it. So if there's a constant negativity going on there, you can read all the self-help, self-development books in the world. I heard something really great this last couple of weeks, is most people write those books just kind of keep you stuck in that mindset, because you're going to just keep going back and buy more books on the topic. Maybe it's time we put down the book and actually go start doing it. Oh, what's the word for that? I think it's execution. We love to personally develop ourselves to death, but then we rarely execute on those books and those plans and those masterminds and those things. How many of you on here were at my mastermind that I held in Panama City Beach, Florida last year? You can put it in the chat if you would like. I can see 1, I could see 2, I could see 3, I could see 4, I can see 5, I can see 6. At least 6 of you, maybe more. I want to know, out of all of the things we did that weekend, because I know that it was a fabulous weekend, and I know that I brought massive heat to that and a lot of plans for you. I want to know how many of you went, because that was almost a year ago now. How many of you went in or came out of that with some major goals, and how well did you actually execute on them? And have you achieved any of those goals? I started thinking about this last night because I knew that today I was going to talk about execution. And I was thinking, and Sid and I did talk about this a little bit. We put together a lot of things. And there's something about the follow-up or the follow-through and the execution on these things that we want to get better at with you. Okay, so part of the reason why I wanted to talk about execution this morning is because Sid puts out a lot of challenges on social media stuff, right? And everybody's like, oh, I want to do that because I want to get better at that. And then we see people for a couple of days do the thing, and then we don't see them anymore. And we're like, what happened? Did they start to execute? Did they not make a good enough plan for it? Did they just not stay consistent because there wasn't checks and balances? Like, why do people not execute? Fear of the outcome is number one. And I don't understand that exactly. So maybe you can help me understand. If it's something you really want, and there's this goal you're out there trying to get, and it's something that really lights your fire, what could be unknown out there that you would be fearful of? So number two, kind of related to number one, and it's fear of what others think. And then number three ties in even further, unable to tolerate continuous failure. So if you tie all three of those together, fear of the unknown, because what if it doesn't work? And I've done things like this in the past and I keep failing, so I don't want to fail again and again and again and again. Now, every most successful person in the world will tell you that they had multiple failures before they ever had their big win. I'm still failing. So everybody, in case you're curious, still out here failing so I can get to that big success. I look at it a little differently. If I don't go out and execute, I actually probably execute too soon. That's my bad. That's my seriously bad habit, is I execute too soon. I don't sometimes lay out the plan all the way because I am so excited to go execute. And then I just jump in fast and furious. I guess I can't help myself. I get excited about executing. But most of you are afraid of what other people are going to think. That is probably the furthest thing from my mind, because I look at it, I guess, internally, my confidence is way up there. Most people are never going to do what I do. So why would I care what anybody else thinks? So what if I fail? At least I tried. It's better than sitting on my couch and watching Netflix and not trying to do anything, because that's what most people are doing. Are you most people? Because I'm not most people. I knew that from a very young age. I was not most people. I refused to be most people. So that means I got to make big goals and I got to go execute them. And I cannot be worried about what other people think, or if they watch me fail, or if they watch me fail 10 times. I don't care, because at least I'm out there trying and they probably aren't. And the ones that are judging your failures are always the ones that are doing less than you. It is never someone doing more than you, because the people doing more than you that are successful are the ones that are out there cheering you on to win. And they are proud of you for failing, because they know that if you keep failing, you're going to run into your next win. Those are never the people who are naysaying that you're actually worried about what they think are the people who are never going to surpass you. So stop letting them into your brain and go execute the things that you want to execute. I don't care if that's your husband, your child, your friend, your business partner. It doesn't matter. They're probably not doing more than you. They probably never will. Number 4 was unable to do persistent work. So that's why I want to take you guys back to your superpower. Is why I started with that. If you're setting goals and things that you want to achieve, and you have big things, big, hairy, scary projects out there that you want to tackle, if you don't actually put in the work and stay persistent with it, it's never going to happen. But more than that, if you're doing something that you are not passionate about, if you haven't figured out what that superpower is yet, and you're not working on that piece of it, you're not going to stay persistent, because you're going to wake up and hate your job every day. Right? So if you're unable to do persistent work on whatever that goal is that maybe you set a year ago in January, maybe it's because you don't like actually doing it. Ever thought about that? Maybe you don't actually like doing it. Maybe you have figured out, maybe the path you're on is something that you want to like. You want to be good at it, but you just aren't. And you just don't have any passion behind it. It's going to be very hard to stay persistent and get that done. And then this is my favorite one. Some of us are over planners. I'm an under planner when it comes to executing things. I do like a good plan, don't get me wrong. but I like to jump in faster than I have the plan. I think Haas said or quoted some, I don't even know who says this, but Haas said it last week or the week before when we were in some training with Danelle Delgado. Jump off the building and throw those wings on afterwards, because we gotta just go fly. We gotta figure it out. We gotta build the ship on the way down, the airplane on the way down. The ship. I don't think I really want a ship if I jump off of a building. I just think I kind of want an airplane or a parachute or something. The ship isn't gonna work. Maybe if we're jumping into the ocean, right? Figure it out on the way down. Sometimes we overplan ourselves to death. By the time we get to the end of that plan, we never finish the plan in the first place. So we're like on step 3 and we need to get to step 5. And then the notebook goes over here on the table and then we just don't get back to it. And then that goes and starts collecting dust. I gave you all kinds of things to do when we were at that mastermind in January, and you probably took your notebook home and set it on your desk, and you may not have even opened it since then. That's not going to get you there. So sometimes over planning can actually stall you out. We want an outline. We want a basic outline. We can fill that in. We can build those wings on the way down, because you just don't want to be out there free falling either. Okay. You got to build it on the way down. That's called plan, do, review. As it relates to the team, because I want you to think about this, because all of you, I think, are in network marketing. If you're not, you might work with a team of people in another realm. So this will still be good for you. So 2 reasons why in a team things don't execute. And this really got me thinking about the challenges that Sid and I put out there for you guys. Communication lacks clarity and specificity. Specificity. Can someone say that for me? 5 times, not just once. I need you to say it 5 times in a row. How many hear it and don't retain it? I see this every time I launch a contest or a challenge for our team, every single time. And this is where the word Zombie comes from. Because people will jump on, they love the plan, they raise their hand, they say they're going to do it. I make them private message me, they're going to do it. And then I start getting these questions and I'm like, man, I said that and bolded it and fine printed it and talked about it to death on that Zoom. How did we not figure that one out? They probably weren't paying attention, but it sounded like fun and they decided they wanted to be a part of it and they did it anyways. Because I am pretty certain it's clearly communicated most of the time. And if it's not, I always tell everybody, ask me the questions now. So then through the process of this, people don't actually execute because they didn't actually pay attention in the beginning, or it wasn't clearly communicated. Have you ever launched a challenge for your team, a contest for your team, and barely anybody participates, or you seem to get a lot of questions? Either you didn't clearly communicate it or they ain't listening. Number 2, as it relates to the team, top to bottom and bottom to top, accountability. If I go out there and I launch a contest or a challenge for my team and I don't do it with them, how many people do you think that are going to actually execute and do it if I'm not actually doing it? And sometimes that means I do it and it was launched to 50 people and only 3 actually do it with me. That happens all the time. Maybe it wasn't right timing. Maybe they just didn't know how to execute. Maybe they didn't clearly hear the plan. But if I'm not doing it, how can I ask them to do it? How can you call yourself a leader if you fail to execute? I saw this when I was kind of doing some research, and it said, it was an article you could click on and read why there was poor execution in leadership, like top 5 reasons poor execution in leadership. And I was like, how do you call yourself a leader if you don't know how to execute? You want to lead a big team in network marketing? You best figure out how to execute. All the plans in the world, all the goals, all the things, all the vision boards, all the things we want to accomplish, shouting out that next rank you're going to make it to, putting that all over your house. But if you don't execute on anything, it's never going to happen. And I'll take it one step further. You can execute, you can launch, you can work at it for a week, you can get lazy and bored, and then you fail to keep executing. That's called consistency or lack of consistency. But those things right there are going to make or break your business. They're going to make or break your team. They're going to make or break whether anyone will follow you or not. What if I kept going out there on social media and telling people I was going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, or I start talking about this project or that project, and then I don't do them. Are people going to follow me? I will tell you one reason why people join me is because they know if I say I'm going to do something, number one, I'm going to go execute it. Number two, I'm going to go crush it. That's why people join me, because they know I'm not going to let them down, because I won't let myself down. If they keep watching you let yourself down, why in the world would they ever join you? Keep telling people you're going to go out there and lose 50 pounds. Keep telling them that. Keep showing up on social media with that extra 50 pounds on you, and no one's going to join you in anything. Because if you can't do what you commit to yourself, if you can't execute on that, what would make them follow you into a business? Your habits are your habits. You either execute or you don't. You can't sort of kind of execute. You can't sort of kind of do things. You got to be that person that people are going to follow. Do what you say you're going to do. Work really hard at it. Rip off the Band-Aid. Okay? Figure out what's holding you back. If you've had something since last January, you keep saying you're going to work on, you're going to do, you're going to accomplish, and you haven't done it yet, what is holding you back? Maybe it's another goal got in the way and you started working on that instead. Fine. As long as you executed that one and accomplished it. But what is holding you back? I would like you to make a list of the things that you committed to yourself last January that you were going to do this year. And next to them, if you haven't accomplished them, I want you to write down, what do you believe held you back from accomplishing that? Don't be making yourself excuses, okay? To be like, for real, the only person you can change is the person that you're looking in the mirror at. Tony Robbins talks a lot about pain versus pleasure. And I love this when it comes to goals and execution. Pain versus pleasure, the theory behind that is you either, what weighs out more? It's either the pain of regret hurts more, or doing the work hurts more. Which is it? Which is more pleasurable to you? Sitting back and doing and not doing it, watching Netflix instead, chilling out on the weekends, or the pleasure of winning? You know what happens? Everybody will tell me, okay, if I said to you right now, actually, we're going to just do this. Put it in the chat. If I ask you, let's say your goal over the next year is to double your rank in your company. Your goal in the next year is to double your rank up twice in the next year. Or Netflix and chill as many times as you want. Tell me which one you would rather have in the comments. Don't lie. Which one would you rather want? So far, rank up, double rank up, next rank, double in my business. So double up, rank up, definitely. Okay, here's the deal. Most of you want that and will say that, but what you will do is actually go Netflix and chill. It's a sad, unfortunate thing, but it's true, because the pleasure of hitting that double rank in the next year, when you think about that, the pleasure of that seems way better than Netflix and chilling, right? The thought of, oh my gosh, I actually doubled my business in 12 months. I'm making X amount more money. I've got the pin title. I got the car, whatever comes along with that. I did it. If you sit back and think about that, the warm and fuzzy, the amazing feeling you get all over is way better, is way more pleasure than sitting back and going, man, what am I going to watch on Netflix and chill for the next 365 days? I mean, if that one seems more pleasurable, you should actually admit that to yourself and then go figure out why you show up on Zooms on a Monday morning to hear me, right? But I will say most of you would say that double rank is more pleasurable. But what happens when you actually have to go put in the work, when you actually have to go execute? When you've worked all day, maybe at your regular job, you came home, you cooked dinner, you did some laundry, and now it's 7 or 8 o'clock at night, and Netflix and chill is calling your name, or putting in a solid 1 to 2 hours on your business you're trying to grow. What seems more pleasurable at that time? I already know the answer to it. You can lie all you want, but Netflix and chill is top of my list at that point of my day. Absolutely 100%. And that's what people will choose. The problem is they'll choose it day in and day out and day in and day out and day in and day out. And then at the end of those 12 months, they have Netflix and chilled for the 365 days, which is not what they said was more pleasurable a year ago. They said it would be more pleasurable for them to double rank. But on a day-to-day basis, we are a microwave society that is super into whatever feels good right now and not what feels good a year from now. And then we will just fail to execute day after day after day after day. And that is exactly what happens and why people don't reach their goals. So I love, anytime I talk to my son about this all the time, when there's something he wants, or something he wants to work towards, or his grades in school or whatever, it's pay versus play. Pay now, play later, play now, pay later. And that goes along the same theory of the pleasure versus pain that Tony Robbins talks about in his Awaken the Giant Within. Winning is consistently executing over a year's time if you want to hit that goal. That's winning. Netflix and chill. I'm just using Netflix and chill. Listen, I do it all the time. Okay. I also work my tail off because I don't have a 9 to 5. So I put lots of 12-hour days in on my business. My reward, which we'll talk about in just a second. I only have a minute left, so I better go really fast. My reward might be Netflix and chill, but it's not until after I've gotten in the hours and the time and I've gotten to a certain level in my business that I can take that reward. Okay. So I want to tell you a couple of things that you can do to get better at execution. And then I want to tell you really quick about something that Sydney and I are going to be launching soon, not tomorrow, not this week, but soon. And it will go for a whole year. So how to get better execution. First of all, what is your superpower? Why do anything but that? Create something you're actually passionate about. Otherwise, you're going to fail to execute out of boredom. Okay. So let's surround whatever you're going to do around that superpower. So guess what? You got to go back and do that first. Let's figure that out. Go do the homework from last week. If you weren't on last week and you don't know what the heck I'm talking about, you can go to our YouTube channel because everything is libraried in there. Okay. Number one, take your idea and create a plan. How many of you guys have really great ideas and then you never put a plan together? You've got to have the plan. Write that plan down. It cannot sit up here in your head. Hassan Slayman, I saw you were on here for a minute, but I don't know if you are anymore. You can't just keep it up here. You have to actually write it down. Write it down, put it on your refrigerator, put it on your bathroom mirror, put it in your notebook, put it whatever. What's the name of the YouTube channel? Hustle and Slay. I will get you the link in case you can't find it. Or maybe Sid, while I'm chatting, you can throw the link in here for everybody. Write that plan down, put it somewhere you can see it visually on a regular basis. Get an accountability partner. I say this all the time. Get an accountability partner. If you give them your plan and you show them that written down, along with what I'm going to tell you in 4, 5, and 6 here, you can have an accountability partner that you check in with. Schedule a once a week, 15-minute meeting. You don't need to be on forever. Go through your list, figure out if you're executing, and don't pick somebody that's going to let it slide. If your cousin Sally is somebody who you're going to get on a Zoom with a 15 minutes a week, and you're going to be giving her all the excuses, and she's like, oh, I know, sis, it's hard. I got that too. And I'm going to do that too. And it was hard. I was sore this week too. And I just didn't feel like eating healthy this week too. Don't find that person. Your accountability partner needs to be somebody who's going to actually hold you accountable. Create the goals. If you've not seen one of my talks on SMART goals, go through that library. I'm sure there is one in there because I do it often. Make sure those goals are SMART goals. Create a deadline and then milestones on that deadline. If your deadline is the end of the year, you better create some milestones every week and a half or 2 weeks from now until the end of the year. Those milestones should be attached to those goals. Those milestones should be attached to rewards. Reward yourself one big thing at the end of it for hitting that goal. Reward yourself for hitting the milestones. It will keep you going and continuously executing rather than stalling out. Those 6 things, if you do those 6 things, you will execute your plans way better. And when you get to the end of that, you're going to be rewarding yourself something, and you better do it. If you have a hard time rewarding yourself, you better tell your accountability partner what it is. And then when you get to the end and you've achieved it, you get it. And if you get to the end and you didn't achieve it, you don't get it. Even if you worked really hard, you don't get it. You can reward yourself along the way on those milestones too. Okay, really quick, Sid and I are going to, over the next year, we're going to launch consistently 21-day challenges. The very first one, we still have to talk about it. The very first one is going to be at no charge. We are going to start charging for them in 2023 because it takes a lot of our time. It takes a lot of our effort, and we want to make sure you're winning. So it will help us stay accountable. They're not going to be expensive. It will help us stay accountable to helping you actually execute and do them and stay accountable to them, because I can't take somebody's money and then not. I just won't. It does take a lot of time. It takes a lot of materials to put stuff like that together. And we want to make sure that we're helping you guys do that. We have a whole plan of how we're going to help you execute and stay consistent on those. So we'll do one probably 21 days, take 7 days off, 21 days, take 7 days off, take 21 days, take 7 days off throughout the whole year of 2023. If you want in on that, we want to know you want in on that. We are going to help you explode your business. So we'll probably do one free one before the end of this year. And they'll be all different things. They're going to be on social media stuff, reels, lives. We're going to get on with Zoom. We're going to map these things out with you. We're going to do work with you, or we do the research, we plot it out. We're going to give you forms to fill out. We're going to make sure that it is something that you actually execute and you conquer in that 21 days. We don't want to do these for people who aren't going to go in and actually do the work, but we're excited to be able to launch that for you guys. And actually we want proof. We want social proof that what we're doing and we're helping you with is actually working and helping people win. Because if we're not helping you win, we are not doing what we set out to do, right? I am excited for this week. I hope that you guys are too. I hope that you learned something today. If you didn't get your superpower all figured out, please go back and do that first. I want to help you guys hone in on that. I want to make sure you can capitalize and monetize on it. So if it's not something you can capitalize and monetize on it, you might be really good at that, but I want you to just put that in the pin board and figure out one of your superpowers. That's something we can go out there and brand you on and help you grow in 2023 on that platform. Okay. I hope you guys have a fabulous week. I will talk to you next Monday.